Imagine coming home late one night, only to find yourself trapped in a terrifying nightmare. Back in college around 2008, I was only 18 years old. I didn't stay on campus like most of my friends. Living only 20 minutes away, I commuted to school every day. That particular week, I had a group project deadline due, and so I stayed at the library late. One night, after staying at the library until midnight, I returned to my car in the parking ramp. I couldn't shake this eerie feeling as if something horrible was about to happen. As I entered the parking ramp, I could see that there was no one else around. I was alone by myself, and my car was on the second level. I'm walking up the stairs, and the lights they flicker in the corridor where the stairs are at. I couldn't shake this feeling that something was about to happen. I was afraid that a man or a woman or something would pop out from behind the corner with a knife and then chase me as I ran desperately down the aisles of cars. But that didn't happen. I was about to face something even worse, something more real. I quickly got into my car and locked my door. Then I searched the back seat to make sure nobody was hiding back there. As I left the parking ramp, I checked the rearview mirror to make sure I was being followed by anyone. When I thought the coast was clear, I took a deep breath, turned on the radio, and started driving home. As I got closer to my house, I could see that there was a light shining from my mom's room. It was a very dim light. And I thought to myself, oh great, she's still up. Not great as in wonderful, but more as of sarcastic reasons behind it, because my mother would probably yell at me and lecture me about staying up so late at college. To avoid that, I decided I would drive into my driveway and turn off my lights as I'm coming in so she wouldn't see me through her window, since her room was on the first floor. I turned off the lights and I quietly parked next to her car. Then I got out of the car quietly and locked my doors. I snuck through the garage door and through the kitchen so that she wouldn't hear me coming in. As I tiptoed my way to the stairs, the floors creaked underneath my feet because we lived at an old house, and the floors always creaked no matter what you did. I slowly walked up the stairs, one step at a time, as it creaked softly underneath my weight. I went past my sister's room, and her room was closed, so I thought she was asleep. She's usually asleep by this time anyways, being in high school and all of that stuff. Mom never let her stay up late. So I passed her room and I quietly tiptoed into my room. Once inside my room, I turned my doorknob gently and I locked it. My dad had built-in bolt locks in my door when I was younger before he passed away. It's a long story why he built that for me. But anyways, I was getting my stuff unpacked as I set my backpack on my bed. I was looking for a piece of paper that I had printed off earlier when I heard the sound of glass shattering downstairs. I thought to myself, oh goodness, what did my mom do this time? Maybe she dropped a picture, or maybe she dropped a plate, or perhaps she was drunk again. But then, as I was about to turn around and go check on my mom, I heard something that brought a chill down to my bone.
Shit, damn it.
Said a voice from downstairs. And then I could hear another voice telling him to shut up and keep looking. And my whole body froze. I swear I could feel my heart pounding against my ribs. It was like my blood turned to ice in an instant. I couldn't move. All I could do was take a deep breath and try to snap myself out of it. But it really hit me like a ton of bricks. In that moment, I realized I was being robbed, and I had no clue where my mom and sisters were. A million thoughts raced through my mind. What happened to them? Are they tied up? Is it like in those movies where the bad guys would do bad things to you, especially if you're a girl? I shook my head to get out of that trance, and I started to look around for a place to hide. My room was on the second floor, and so jumping out of the window was not an option. The only thing I could think of was to hide in my closet. It wasn't much, but it was all I had. I opened the door quietly and closed it behind me. Once I was in, I tried to hide behind the clothes that hung in my closet. I took out my phone, my old flip phone, and called 911. And just as the dispatcher picked up, I heard footsteps come up the stairs. And then he makes his way up here. In that moment, it was as if my voice was taken away from me, and I sat there with anxiety and panic. I couldn't talk anymore. I couldn't feel myself breathe, and all I could do was pressing the button. Keep pressing the button, I told myself. Morse code for SOS. The footsteps came up the stairs. First, they stopped at my sister's room. I heard the door open. The floors creak as they walked around, and after a moment, the footsteps came back into the hallway and stopped in front of my door. I heard the doorknob, and then I heard a second set of footsteps coming up the stairs. I can imagine the two of them using some sort of signal, because I heard them knock on my door. I felt a lump grow in my throat. As I tried to swallow my spit, I couldn't, because even then my whole body was frozen and my throat went dry. The dispatcher kept asking me questions on the phone. I was too afraid to answer. I was trembling. I thought if I answered the dispatcher, they would hear me. They would know I was in here. And I tried to stay as silent as possible, just waiting for whatever would happen next. Waiting for my fate or my death. Call it what you will. Then the man's voice said to me,
"We know you're in there. Open the door."
and the other one said,
"We won't hurt you, sweetheart. I just want to talk to you."
And then in that moment of silence, I could hear him reach into his pocket, bypassing the keys he had in his pocket and pulling something out. And because it was deathly quiet, I could hear the flip of a switchblade. And so I listened quietly so that I could hear everything that was going on. The switchblade scraped against the wood of my doorframe as he tried to unlock my door. As he tried to get in, I could hear the crack of the wood as the switchblade broke through the first layer of wood, right where my doorknob is. And then I heard him drop it. He cursed underneath his breath.
Fuck.
As he picked up the switchblade again. As that guy was trying to open the door, I could hear the other one walking downstairs. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, all the way to 12. At my door, I can still hear the other men fumbling with the switchblade, trying to get my door to open up. But like I said, I have a bolted door. And so I was glad, because it gave me hope that maybe I could just hang in there a little bit longer until help came. And maybe this guy wouldn't be able to get in. Whatever he had, and whatever he was trying to do, he dropped the switchblade a second time. It sounded heavy as it hit the floor. Not like when you drop a small pocket knife, but when you drop something bigger. And so he cursed and he started pounding on my door like a madman. I just took my hands and I covered my ears. I don't want to hear them pound at the door. I don't want them to kick down my door. I was afraid. And then it all stopped. I heard the sound of ruffled bags, the sound of footsteps. There was a pause as they mumbled something to each other. Then I heard them go down the staircase again. 1 step, 2 step, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I heard the sound of bags being shuffled around. I imagined that they were taking whatever they could find and leaving my house. But like I said, my house was older, and so the floors creaked wherever you walk. The creaking went into the kitchen, and then the back door opened. I could hear the screen door open and slam shut. I could hear the two of them running through the grass, into the darkness where they may never be found again. I was in a trance. The operator on 911 brought me back to reality, to this moment. She was still on the phone with me. She kept calling for me. Then I finally gathered myself enough to say, "Please help." and I'm hiding in my closet. But I think they left, and I don't know if they're coming back. So please help me. I gave the dispatcher my address. Within a few minutes, I heard the sound of sirens in the distance. But I didn't come out of my closet. I waited. And I waited until I heard people come through the front door. And I heard the footsteps up the stairs. And they stopped at my door again. And a voice said,
"Hannah, are you in there? This is the police officer."
and for the first time, in 15 minutes, I was able to breathe. I took my breath, and I felt my blood melt, like something finally thawing from a long winter. I stumbled out of the closet, trembling and shaking from fear, anxiety, panic. I opened the door slowly and saw the officer standing there. There was 2 of them. They escorted me downstairs into the living room, where I gave them my statement and tried my best to recall the horrible incident that just happened to me. And I sat there. The room was in slow motion. I felt so numb. I was so scared before and so anxious, but now I just felt so numb. It was like watching this reality show in front of me, something like CSI or NCIS. But no, this was reality.
Subscribe now.